Welcome to our show The Law with Nalwagana Shiba, your host here on Ocas TV. Today we are going to be looking at intercountry adoption. We see we have a lot of foreigners in our country and most of them get married here. We are looking at a situation where our foreigners or this couple cannot be able to give birth. What are the procedures or the solutions given to them in case they want to adopt a child? I'm not alone. I'm with the legal advisor here at Old Kampala Adult School, taking us through the end of the show. Hello.
Hello.
You're most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Briefly tell us your name.
Yes, my name is Joshua Mali Mujuni. Yes, I am the legal advisor here at Old Kampala Adult School. Yes.
We've seen a lot of situations especially we are talking about Uganda here. Old Kampala is one of the schools with foreigners, and we see it's another school. Let's look at a situation whereby this couple is unable to give birth, is unable to get a child. What are the procedures can this couple opt in able to adopt a child in Uganda?
Yes, thank you very much. So if the couple can't get children naturally, there are a lot of options that this couple can follow to get to acquire children for themselves. And one of the options is, of course, adoption that we are going to be talking about. So in adoption, there are a lot of procedures that have to be followed to adopt a child. But before we go to those procedures, maybe I can first tell people what adoption is. In most cases, if the couple, for example, here at Old Kampala Adult School, we handle most of our students here are foreigners. Students who are not Ugandans. We hate calling them foreigners, but are students who are not Ugandans by citizenship. So most of them may want to marry or may go into marriage, but they might fail to get children. And even others might have children, but might go ahead and want to adopt other children for themselves. So adoption is the creation of a parent-child relationship that is by judicial order. Yes. So adoption is always by a judicial order between two parties, a parent and a child, and then the adoptive parent. Yes. So practically that is it for adoption, and maybe with time we are going to see how a parent can be able to adopt the procedures that a parent can follow to adopt these children.
Our viewer out there would like to know what is inter-country adoption.
Of course, inter-country adoption is it's a parent-child relationship that is created by a judicial order, but now this one is between an international parent, a parent who is not a Ugandan. Yes, any parent who is not a Ugandan, let it be that this parent comes from a different continent that's not Africa, or even if the parent comes from Africa, but a country that's not particularly Uganda. So once that parent wants to adopt a Ugandan child, then that one becomes an inter-country adoption. Yes, because it is in between two countries that is going to adopt a Ugandan child, but the parent, the adoptive parent, the prospective adoptive parent is not a Ugandan.
Is it possible for this process to occur, and what are the steps that anyone who's out there who would like to undergo through this process, what are the steps that they could take?
Yes, the first question, yes, of course it is very possible for one to adopt for a foreign person to adopt a Ugandan child. The process, the requirements per se for this to happen, of course there are several requirements that one has to follow to be able to adopt a Ugandan child. One of the requirements is that prospective adoptive parent has to be 25 years of age and 21 years above the age of the child, meaning that if you want to adopt a certain child, you have to be at least 21 years older than that child. Yes, and then you don't have to be less than 25 years of age. I wouldn't speak for the framers of the law, but particularly for my own reasoning, I would like to I think they want someone who is reasonable enough to be able to take care of this child. So also, age is one of the things that people consider that someone is reasonable enough. Now imagine if you want to adopt a child, but you are also you are 17 years. Yes, you are 17 years, but you want to adopt a child who is 10 years. You are 18 years, but you want to adopt a child who is 14 years. So that one is, of course, a matter of consciousness. Then another requirement is this prospective parent adoptive parent has to be in good health. Has to be in good health. He or she doesn't have to be sickly, because now if you want to adopt a child, you have, of course, to take care of this child. So if you adopt a child and you are not in good health, it means that you might also maybe pass on and leave this child while suffering. Then another requirement, of course, the adoptive parent has to be I don't want to use the word wealthy, but he has to be with yes, not well off, but he has to be financially stable. You understand? Why? Because this child has to, the Constitution and the other laws about children, for example, the Children Act, they consider children. There are special laws for children. For example, they consider the welfare of the child. So if you want to adopt this child, you have to convince the court that you are going to maintain the welfare of the child in shape. The welfare of the child, of course, may include things to do with education, things to do with his health, things to do with anything that is going to maintain this child in good shape. So that means that that's why the adoptive parent, the prospective adoptive parent, has to be financially stable. Then we also have other things to do with consent. This prospective adoptive parent has to seek consent of the biological parents now of the child. It is not automatic that if someone wants to adopt, they have to adopt a child whose parents are dead. No, you can as well adopt a child whose parents are still alive, but you have to seek consent from the parents. Then if
what if the parents are dead? We found this child in an orphanage. What should they do?
Yes, so if the parents are dead, of course there are procedures. If the children are in orphanage, there are procedures. You have to seek consent from the orphanage. We have what we call foster care placements. So these children are always put in foster care. They are always you have to obtain that order of foster care. For example, you have this prospective adoptive parent has to take that child and take care of that child for more than for the period not less than 12 months. Previously it was supposed to be 3 years, but now they amended, so it is supposed to be right now not more than 12 months. So it means that if you want to adopt a child, this child is going to be under your supervision and care for not more than 12 months, but you are also going to be supervised by what we call a probation and social welfare officer, to make sure that you have really taken care of this child, and that this child, you have created a bond. There is a bond that has been created between you and this particular child.
So what if you fail to meet those requirements? There are high chances that this child is going to be taken away.
Yes, if you fail to meet those requirements, of course there are higher chances that you are not going to become able to adopt this child. And though there are other requirements, for example, like the first requirement of age, where we talked about that this prospective adoptive parent has to be at least 25 years and then 21 years older than the child. So that one we have exceptions to that requirement, where you prove there are exceptional circumstances that you can prove to show that yes, maybe I am 30 and I want to adopt a child who is 14, but of course I am not 21 years older than this child, but I can prove exceptional circumstances that I can do it. I can be able to adopt this child. There are several exceptional circumstances that someone can prove. For example, someone might have had a history of adopting these children, or of taking care of these children without any concern of from maybe his or her country of origin, or any concern from our society here in Uganda. And then other exceptional circumstances may include sickness, that this child is totally ill and is a total orphan without any parent and is in a bad state. So you find that someone can actually prove exceptional circumstances to beat that requirement of age. Yes.
Are there more requirements?
The other requirements, of course, if the child is 14 years of age, then also the prospective